Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Member, as I said earlier, 10,000 already trained effectively. In fact, if I'm correct, the President was at the parade not long ago of these officers. Those of you who watch TV must have seen these officers who were parading. Honorable Member, they are all newly trained. Those who saw, I think it was last week, Friday, I'm not sure. You saw them? Yeah. No, not Mapanyaza. The newly trained one, the 10,000. I'll come to the Mapanyaza later. So those have been trained and trained effectively. So I've no doubt that you will get effective policing. They've been trained in modern equipments and everything else. But I think we must also not despise Amapanyas. They are doing a good job. Yes. You know, in the spirit of community policing, that's what you need. People, because most of them, Honorable Member, they come from those communities. So they are not hired elsewhere. And there's nothing as good as people policing their own space. And that's something good about Amapanyaza is that one, that these are volunteers who are in their own space and doing everything in their own space. I think we should praise them, actually. In fact, someone, chairperson, was asking me, why don't we roll out this all over the country? And
All the honorable members, I know that the issue is an exciting one.
It's an exciting issue.
But let's hear the responses from the DP.
Yes, let me just conclude by saying, I think fighting crime must always be a community effort. And I think what's happening in Gauteng should really be replicated everywhere where you're involved. You may call them different names, Ntatem Sima, and maybe in the Western Cape, they might give them your name. But I think it's important to involve communities, and I see it in that light. The issue of what happens if they do something wrong. Remember, this is a collaborative effort with the state. It's not just people who are running around. Because this is a program designed by the Premier, it's a collaboration with the state. And that's why the police must find a way of working with them, like they are doing with Community Policing Forum. There are sometimes police who think, I know, you know, we are a single national police. We don't want these people. But fighting crime has to be a collaborative effort at all times. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. Honorable members, we will now proceed to question number 16. 16. The question is on accountability of those in power. Accountability of those in power. The question comes from Honorable Mukause and is directed to the Deputy President. Honorable Mukause.
I must respond first.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay, Mam Gauss.
Thanks.
Okay, let me respond. Mam Gauss will come in with a follow-up. Honorable Chairperson, when we responded to a similar question in the National Assembly in March of this year, I think it was on the 23rd of March, we gave a response that I'll probably also try and reiterate here. In my considered view, Chairperson, Parliament has not refused to respond to the specific allegations. And I think we must underline that has not refused. Instead, Parliament embarked on a process which was subsequently concluded in line with the rules of Parliament. And I also want to underline concluded, because I know there are people who think this matter must go on and on and on. Concluded in December last year. It may well be that, as is their right, some members of this House do not agree with that determination of Parliament or what Parliament ultimately reached. Such reservation or unhappiness as may exist can and should be dealt with within the rules and ambit of Parliament or within the rules of Parliament. As honorable members may be aware, the South African Revenue Services, the Public Protector, and the South African Reserve Bank have dealt with the Phala Phala allegations and issued statement in terms of their own findings. And I think all members here are aware of that, those findings. I don't have to tell you about them. So, Honorable Chairperson, let me once again state that this government and our President, President Cyril Ramaphosa, have committed to be subjected to all processes by our Constitution and the laws of the country. We reiterate our support for the rules of the National Assembly as agreed and adopted by the House. We also reiterate our support for all Chapter 9 and Chapter 10 institutions and other law enforcement agencies who continue to hold those in power accountable. Chairperson, we further emphasize that state and law enforcement agencies must be allowed and be given enough space to complete their work without undue pressure or any form of interference. And lastly, when they are done, we should accept the results. Because I know there are those, when work is done, they start saying, I know, hey, these people are biased, whatever. No. Let's respect these institutions. In any case, it's us, members of Parliament, who have established these institutions. Let's allow them, they operate independently. Once they make their findings, we should accept that. Thank you very much.